All right, ladies and gentlemen, just giving a second for a couple people to show up, sending the link to the podcast to a couple different groups, and then we will get right with you. CSWA checking in, I appreciate it. So just a little background on this podcast. Cup of Coffee with Sbj. It's sort of a informal podcast. We have different guests on. You have in and out of character, different things like that. So today, as you could see, our special guest on the Cup of Coffee with Sbj will be the 3-dub general manager and just manager extraordinaire, one of the best voices in EFED, Clarence Fletcher Townsend, a.k.a. CFT. You better be careful if you pronounce his name incorrectly, because he will have his lawyers sue you.
Damn right, and I'm here, SBJ, and damn, it's been too long.
It absolutely has. It's, as hard as it is to admit it, it's always a pleasure to have you on here with me, CFT. It's been quite a while.
I'm trying to find someone here to administer a lie detector test, because there's no way in hell you're telling the truth right now. No way in hell. You're lying through your teeth, old man.
I can't tell a lie there, CFT, because my mustache will grow. It's kind of a reverse
so you're
Pinocchio
Caleb
effect.
Stone if he was Pinocchio.
Yeah, it's either my mustache grows or my hairline grows, one or the other. I can't remember exactly which one it is.
I'll tell you one thing that doesn't grow, according to Mrs. Jericho, and apparently you need something blue to get it up.
Well, thankfully, Will King sponsors a new formula for aged gentlemen such as myself.
Aged gentlemen? No, there's a difference between being aged and being a fossil, and you're leaning towards the latter at this point. I'm pretty sure when you go to the hospital, SBJ, for your regular routine checkup, they don't ask you how old you are anymore. They just carbon date you.
This is exactly why I was afraid when I was etching my name in the stone to sign for this interview with you. I was kind of hesitant at first because I knew these sort of comments were coming.
Damn right they're coming, and they're not going to be stopping anytime soon in this program. So you better get used to it. You better strap in, and your wife, hopefully she doesn't have a strap on, or you're double screwed.
Well, I don't know what that is a reference to, CFT, but I'm sure it's something that's...
it ain't good. It ain't good.
All right, so what we're going to chat about here tonight, CFT, a little bit of Alcatraz, maybe, your interference there. Also, we're going to chat a little bit about Worldwide Wrestling, and we may go to other organizations should we choose. It's kind of an open-ended thing, and maybe if we got some viewers, maybe we'll have a little Q&A at the end if people want to participate.
As I said earlier, we can do a Ask CFT Anything, and I'll give you a straightforward answer. You may not like it, but hell, it's my opinion alone, but at the same time, my opinion is like gospel. If you follow the 10 Commandments, everything that comes after that should basically be the 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th. You keep going when it comes to the list of commandments. But either way, SBJ, let's go ahead and start talking. What do you want to talk about first? Anything. Come on. You're the host here.
All right, so let's get right into the nitty-gritty. Alcatraz.
All right.
So you took it upon yourself to interfere with our first pay-per-view that we've had in quite a long time.
Indeed.
So one side of this, we get Noah Youngblood back in action in hybrid. It's been a long time,
right.
Probably too long. And the paying guests get a little bit more value for the tickets they bought. On the other side of this, we had a nice little opening ceremony that was planned and everything. And you basically stole the time that we had allotted for. Have anything to say for yourself?
Well, first and foremost, I told this to James Black when he confronted me about it after the show. I'll basically pay for all the lost airtime. I'm rich, I can do these kind of things. And I'm fucking CFT. I can come out whenever I want, and nobody can stop me. I can walk down that aisle, get into that ring, have as much time with the microphone as I would like, and who's going to stop me? Who's going to say anything? Who has the balls to do anything? Because they'll get sued. I got a bunch of lawyers. You know this, Stephen. I got a boatload of lawyers, and I am not afraid to use them when I need to use them. And, well, if anyone tries to interrupt my time, it wasn't your time. I was there, and I decided it was my time. If I decide it's my time, then by God, Stephen Benoit Jericho, it is my time. So when someone tries to take that time away from me, hell will be rained down upon them. So, yeah, there's my answer, Stephen. I don't regret doing what I did, because you know me. I have that kind of power. I have that kind of influence.
Since you have all that power and influence, why don't you go out and get us a camera so we can have some live video for these podcasts, since you are a big part of HWA and have been for quite some time.
Big part of HWA, but I don't seem to remember anywhere in my contract saying that you had to use my endless wealth to buy your own stuff.
I mean, I guess that's a good point. So, Victorious over Chris Harris,
right,
is your client.
Mm-hmm.
TKWA checking in. Thank you for checking in. Hit that like button for us. Definitely. Appreciate the support here. If you guys have any questions for CFT, make sure you shoot them over and we'll follow along. So why Noah? And I don't understand why Noah wanted to be part of the new Townsend Enterprises, but, you know, other than money, is it the almighty dollar? Is that what brought Noah to you, and why did you reach out and choose Noah as your first pick for the rebranding of Townsend Enterprises?
Well, if you know anything about Noah Youngblood, you know him and I actually have a past, and it's not just about money. I mean, yes, there is some money involved, and the amount of money will not be disclosed here, will not be disclosed anywhere. That is between me and Noah Youngblood. But besides that, Noah Youngblood and I go back a ways. We spent some time together in 3WA as a manager and client, as part of Havoc when I was a member of that stable, and, well, I was impressed with what I saw in Noah Youngblood, but I didn't think he really had the platform to succeed at the level that I thought he could succeed at. So what did I do? I called him up. I'm like, hey, guess what? HWA is reopening. Alcatraz is coming. We got all these shows coming. Why don't you and I make some history together? You know, I mean, I haven't done Townsend Enterprises in about 2 years, and I'm like, you know what? Let's change that. Call you up, and guess what, Noah? Me and you, we're going to make the money, we're going to get all the women, we're going to get all the belts, and nobody, and I mean nobody, is going to get in our way. And, well, Chris Harris, he tried, he stepped up, and Chris Harris got knocked back down. And, well, you know how I feel about Chris Harris. We'll be talking about him plenty when we get to 3 up.
Chris Harris didn't really seem like he was at the top of his game like we normally see him. I mean, we saw on the most recent takedown, he at one point was tearing it up against some of the best in the business, taking on Hollywood Watkins and DJB, and he was in there lighting it up, and he didn't fare quite that well against Noah. Do we think that Noah is on the same level as like a Hollywood Watkins and DJB, and, you know, maybe he's just a little too much for Harris? Or is Harris not prepared for the match because he didn't fare that well?
Right. Well, if you follow me on social media, if you follow my opinions, my comments in Worldwide Wrestling, you know that I have the utmost respect for the megastars. So I'm not going to say that Noah Youngblood is above them. I'm not going to say that at all, but Chris Harris, his matches nowadays, they're a hit or miss. The guy basically spent several months retired, going basically off the grid, did God knows whatever, I don't care what Chris Harris did during that
We all know
time.
what he did during that downtime because he posted every single time he went to the bathroom or was hanging out with some,
Riley, was that her name?
yeah, some, what's a good word for her?
Yeah.
I guess adult super
Woman of the Night?
star? Adult film star, we'll call her.
Yeah, I don't know, I don't care. Even for my standards, that was kind of disgusting. Either way, so Chris Harris, I think he had an off night. His matches are unpredictable. You don't know if he's going to come in like a house of fire or if he's going to bomb harder than the Atlanta Falcons in Super Bowl 51. And, well, I think we got the latter at Alcatraz.
Well, let's hope that if Chris plans on sticking around here in HWA that, we get the true Chris Harris when we see him in the ring in the future.
Part of me starting to think the true Chris Harris is kind of dying off.
I don't know. It was definitely nice to see Chris Harris, lacing his boots up and at Alcatraz. I know he was there watching, but I didn't know he had any wrestling gear with him. I guess apparently he carries it in his bag all the time.
There's plenty of things that Chris Harris carries in his bag. Some of the things are illegal, and we're not going to get into that here.
Well, I guess we'll just sort of leave it at that.
Let's just say he makes the Southern Smoke Boys look very, very clean in comparison.
So, other than the match with Noah Youngblood, okay, what was your favorite match other than your own client that you saw at Alcatraz? Which one stood out to you, CFT?
I gotta say, it's probably the one that everyone's talking about, the main event for the world title. Remy versus John Awesome inside the Hell in a Cell.
Absolutely. That was, as the kids say, that was a banger.
Do you even know what that means?
I heard it's a good thing, so...
yeah, it's a good thing, but try not to be hip, SBJ. It doesn't work out. I mean, last time you tried to be hip, you were going around talking about Tinder left and right, acting like you knew what it meant. And now you know what Tinder is, you know what Grindr is, and I'm going to sue your...
Well, speaking of Chris Harris, the handsome one is checking in.
Oh, God.
Chris, we were just talking a little bit about you. I would like to see what you have to say about the match at Alcatraz with Noah Youngblood and your thoughts on that. So make sure you chime in so we can see what you have to say. Keep carrying on there, CFT. I just noticed that Harris popped in, so I had to address him.
Well, yeah, kind of lost my train of thought here, but I do think that main event definitely took the show. That Hell in a Cell match was just unbelievable, and honestly, SBJ, I'm surprised with James Black. I thought he would have paid for a better cage, because I didn't expect for it to, give away like it did.
I don't think that we had a lot of time to set it up. We had a limited time at Alcatraz. As you know, it's kind of a very limited venue for anyone to enter the island. So
I mean, it's a prison. We had to go through a metal detector when we got there.
Yeah, it was kind of hastily put together, possibly, but HWA's never really had the biggest financial backing, so we kind of do what we can.
But we got a megastar funding this now.
He's not really funding it; he owns it, I guess, but the funds come from other means per se, I guess. Hopefully,
I'm not going to really get into those means because I can tell right now they're not coming from me. They're not coming from James Black, and I don't know who the hell is investing in HWA, but I guess
gentlemen like Will King, Trey Jeter, Aaron O'Connor are some of our investors. Just put their names out there. James Sargent, James Seal. So we get a donations from all around friends, friends of the organization, if you will.
Time out. Pause here real quick to quote the governor from New Breed. Pause. Question. So you're talking about all these people donating money. I know it's Hybrid Wrestling Alliance, but are we basically becoming GoFundMe Wrestling Alliance? Are we basically running off like it's GoFundMe or Kickstarter? This is the poorest environment I have ever been in. I wish you could see me right now. Just the thought of it is nearly making me break out into an allergic reaction. I swear, I feel hives growing on me right now. I feel like my body temperature is increasing. I'm shaking. I've got the chills. SBJ, ew. This is disgusting.
If we can sell some more tickets, we're working on it, CFT. It's a long haul to get up there. We'll never be at the 3-dub level, but hopefully we can earn our right and get our footing going here, and possibly a bigger TV contract and some merchandising and get things where they should be.
So I guess while we're here, SBJ, and kind of in between things, what's going on in the live chat? Anyone saying anything about me? Anyone trying to talk some smack? Anyone, wanting to fire from the hip on me?
So I've got TKWA. He wants to talk about why TK Chris and why he's not booked. I'm not exactly sure who TK Chris is.
TK Chris is a member of, and I'm not stuttering when I say this name, I'm not tripping on my words, Canada's Moist Wanted.
Canada's Moist Wanted.
Yeah, that's the name of the group he's in. And TK Chris, on the last episode of Takedown, challenged a man you probably know very well, Savio Shine, for the Hardcore Championship.
I do know Savio.
And, well, TK Chris came up short, and he doesn't have a match this week. Well, welcome to 3-Dub. You lose to a guy like Savio Shine, you're definitely going to be working your way back up the rankings here. But regardless, TK Chris, don't worry. Your GM's got you covered. He's got you protected. Don't worry. You'll get yourself a match here very, very soon. I can't get everyone on every card. That's just how it works. Takedown, I've given limited television time, and unfortunately, you weren't able to be fit onto this one. But, hey, never say never. Time is coming, and, well, when that time does come, you, Trend Killer Chris, will have the option, the ability, should I say, to show the entire world what you can do. Not only to me, but the entire world, the little kids that you keep hearing in the background of this party, everything. You're going to be able to hear all of it. They're going to be able to see that. So, TK Chris, keep your head up, chin up. A lost Savio isn't the end of the world, but a lost Center cool would be. So, thank God you didn't get to that.
So, Trend Killer Chris. That's a pretty trendy name, so make sure you guys go over to Worldwide Wrestling, a.k.a. 3-Dub, Worldwide Wrestling YouTube channel, so you can see TK in action. Now we've got Chris Harris, the handsome one. This is a quote from Chris Harris. To be honest, it was something I had planned a little bit to at least make a backstage appearance at Alcatraz, but once the opportunity arose, I had to take it. Noah is a damn tough kid, I cannot lie. Well, and then Nightbot says friends don't watch Friends shows without clicking like.
Quick question, does Nightbot still say the silence has been broken and all that stuff?
We don't say that here any longer, but no, he does not.
Oh, okay, good, because that was kind of giving me the heebie-jeebies.
And James Seal checked in as well. Welcome, James IWA Seal. Network. Appreciate the like.
But yeah, Chris Harris... Glad to hear that he's kind of conceding to Noah Youngblood because he has no other option. He got humbled. He got made to look like a bitch.
I wouldn't go that far.
I will go that far, SBJ. I won't go that far when we're talking about that Ohio Day Walker piece of garbage. Should I say trailer park garbage? That's how much on the garbage scale. There's the very bottom, and then there's trailer park bullshit at the very, very top. And somehow Chris Harris has exceeded this. I swear, he looked like one of those guys, and I came into the company. I didn't really know many of these guys. I came in and I see Chris Harris, and he looked like one of those meth heads that you see on the street corner. So I thought he was just someone, trying to leech off of the talent, trying to get some money, trying to bum, trying to get a ride, I don't know. Trying to get to his work at Denny's. I don't know. But either way, no. He's Chris Harris. He's the GM of the company. And, well, I kicked Chris Harris to the curb, and 3-Dub has been at its best. SBJ, we had a show with nearly 600 views under my regime.
So he just wanted to... Chris wanted to point out the fact that when you threw the kendo stick or pipe or whatever it was, it
was Dr.
appeared as someone from the ringside close to your vicinity threw an object over the top ropes and struck Chris Harris in the back of the head. States that
I've seen the footage,
looked like it was you.
Edited. No, that footage was obviously edited, obviously doctored. We're using some sort of high-tech, augmented reality video stuff to make things look like they're there that they're not. They're not there at all.
So where would we be able to afford this editing, live video editing software when we can't even afford to have a camera on the host and commentator of the podcasts in...
I don't know, you tell me. It seems like a conspiracy. Someone is against me, and one of these shareholders, I don't know if it's James Seal, James Sargent, Aaron O'Connor, Trey Jeter, somewhere in between, someone is out to get me. There is a conspiracy going on here.
All right, so I guess we'll leave it at that, because we're not going to get an answer that the fans are looking for. But so let's head over to Worldwide Wrestling a little bit.
All
3Dub. We just had a very entertaining takedown show. We touched a little bit on Chris Harris's match. Chris Harris teaming with the immortal Corey Heck. I never thought I would see that again, or see Corey Heck lacing his boots up. I thought he was going to be staying retired. But we saw them take on Hollywood Watkins and DJB, the tag team champions in 3Dub from the Megastars.
Well, I will say this regarding Takedown, that was the main event. However, if you were following on social media, the planned main event was Jack Harvey versus James Black, but James Black powerbombed Jack Harvey through a table off the stage. So that match was called off at the very end of the show.
Absolutely did see that. Very unfortunate to Jack Harvey. He fought his way up basically from the bottom of the pack to become the world champion in Worldwide Wrestling. I remember Jack Harvey when he started his career and over in XCW alongside with Ian King and Corey. But yeah, it's very unfortunate. I hope Jack is doing well. I haven't seen any reports on his condition yet.
Well, it was some sort of revenge, you could say, from James Black, because if you saw the episode before, Jack Harvey appeared as the Madness, his alter ego, which appears to be coming back out.
I don't know if it's ever been confirmed that Jack Harvey and the Madness even know each other, but...
And talking about the takedown, a lot of things went on. How about this one, SBJ? You're a 3Dub encyclopedia, you could say. The return of Donnie Effin Brown.
So Donnie Effin Brown was before my time with 3Dub, so I'm very curious to see what he can do, because I've only seen, basically highlights from the archives of Donnie Brown.
Well, you saw him face Ian on Takedown, and they had an entertaining match. Donnie Brown was sent by Juice James, and I'll have a little bit more on that later, because I said on social media that within the next 24 hours I would confirm or deny whether or not Ian King versus Juice James would be happening at Gold Rush. Both men want it, but I said I didn't know, and well, maybe by the end of this program, for those watching, for those listening, maybe I'll make my decision. Who knows? Maybe I'll make it right here on a cup of coffee with SBJ.
Why, just curious, Juice can never really seem to stay retired. He always seems to be drawn out from whichever hole he likes to hide in and meditate, or whatever it is that Juice does. Why did he come out of retirement for Ian King?
Well, he never really was in retirement. If you remember at Texas Stampede, him and Euro and Young at the time were taking on Cody Omega and Hollywood Watkins. When they were the tag team champions, you were still in the company at the time. And that was the last time anyone had saw Juice James. And then Ian decided, okay, we're going to start off the new season this way. He wanted a fight with Juice James, and he wanted to prove to the entire 3-Dub world that he could hang with the best. And, well, Juice James at one point did save Ian King from an attack by Heroin, and since then, Ian has wondered how he would stack up against, more specifically, Juice James. And Ian King was not getting answers. He came out on the season premiere, and he called out Juice James, and Sandra Cool was with him, and then Savio Shine returns to 3-Dub. The episode after that, Ian King goes to call out Juice James again, and Caleb Stone comes out and beats Ian for his hardcore championship. And then it just seemed like Juice wasn't coming. You know, there was no sign of him on the go-home show to Guaranteed Money. And then at Guaranteed Money, the hardcore title on the line, Fatal 4-Way, Caleb Stone, Savio Shine, Sandra Cool, Ian King. Juice James showed up after the match and nailed Ian with a stunner. And after that, Ian was really wanting to know if Juice was going to accept his challenge or if he's playing some sort of mind games. So Juice James, this is a face and a name that you'll know right away, SBJ. Juice James sent the Horseman after Ian King.
Another 3-Dub legend, kind of before my time, but I have seen him make appearances here and there throughout my tenure as well, absolutely.
The Horseman, he stepped up to Ian King, he got beaten, and then Ian beat Donnie F. and Brown on takedown, and well, you saw Juice James accepting Ian King's challenge. He came to me backstage, and again, the only reason I don't know is because there is a lot, and I mean a lot of pressure from people, not just Sandra Cool, but some members of the board that will remain nameless, and some other people that do not want this match to happen because they are worried about the well-being of Ian. That is why I am reluctant on making this decision. Like I said, but maybe by the end of the program, I'll let you guys know what I'm going to do. It's going to be one of the hardest decisions I've made so far as the GM of 3-Dub.
And I did make a mistake. I caught myself after I already said it. I meant to say Cody. So
Cody
no,
Brainerd, rest in peace.
Yeah, absolutely no disrespect meant. I said Corey by mistake there. I see Jack Harvey checking in. So I did realize I said that, and I do apologize. Absolutely, XCW. So we have Chris Harris checking back in. Haven't had the pleasure of being in the same ring with Juice, but Ian has his work cut out for him, that's for sure. And absolutely, I don't know if...
happens.
So Ian King over the years, I feel that sometimes he's been very underutilized for the work that he's put in his career. I don't know that he is a top tier talent to be facing guys like Juice James. Maybe now that Juice is in his later part of his career, but would you put him on the same level as guys like Jack Harvey that he came up with or anything?
So if we're comparing Ian to, say, Jack Harvey has 3 world titles to his name. Ian King has 0. I don't really think I need to go any more, into detail past that. I think the resume speaks for itself.
But the opportunity, I know, not taking anything away from Jack. Jack has worked his tail off since day one. I've been a Jack Harvey fan. I was looking at a picture of Jeff Hardy here.
Of course, my God, one time he called Jeff Hardy Jeff Harvey.
Jack Harvey has earned everything that he has accomplished. There's no question to that. But do you feel that maybe Ian hasn't been offered the same opportunities to shine the way that Jack has?
I don't know if it's that Ian hasn't been given the opportunities or if he simply hasn't earned some of them.
It's like you got something in your throat there,
I
CFT.
do there.
With the
fly went down my throat.
We'll see what Jack has to say here. Jack Harvey agrees that Ian's been underutilized and overlooked, perhaps. And then he's got a quote as, "My teacher once taught me there are levels in this game. I'm a whole other level right now.
So
No doubt.
Jack definitely thinks he's above Ian, and maybe in some ways he is. But I do think if this match happens, if Ian faces Juice, we'll figure out where Ian truly stacks up. I think this is the ultimate test for Ian, if it happens.
This is definitely win or lose. If Ian has a good showing one-on-one with Juice James, there's no way that he can be overlooked in 3-dub any longer.
No, I think it's... Imagine a world where this match happens and Ian wins.
Chris Harris says that you sound like Bobby from the Brady Bunch when your voice cracked.
Things happen, okay? This is live, this is unfiltered, uncensored, things go on, okay, Chris? Okay, yeah, fine. We're moving past that now. I've done it before, I'll do it a million times after. So either way.
All right, but Jack, thank you for checking in. It's been a while since I've seen you on here, so
exactly.
Definitely appreciate every time you pop in here. You always welcome the mic up with us. That open invite has always been there. Let's see. Jack has a lot to say.
Oh, God.
I most don't believe I'm above Ian. I'm just saying I'm main event. If that says I'm above Ian, main event is main event.
Well, we'll see, but
that's a little cryptic there. But I guess confidence
right.
is one thing. So yeah.
I think time will tell whether or not Ian is on Jack's level or can be on Jack's level. But you know what? Sitting here talking about all this, and I know we probably got ourselves a decent audience building from 3-Dub Universe.
What's going on, Hector? Hector Ramirez coming in the booth here.
All around EFED. But before you get into all of that, so I think I've reached a decision, SBJ. I have reached a decision.
What decision have you made?
Regarding Ian versus Juice James. And whether or not it's going to happen at Gold Rush. So, okay. Ian. Let's just look at this for a minute. Ian King is going up potentially against one of the toughest opponents he's ever had in his entire career. I am getting pressure from various people to not make the match, to just not do it. Ian is not ready for this. Even though Juice accepts, even though Ian accepts. And the main advocate against this match is Sandra Cole. And I want to just say this, okay? You know, we got to be considerate. We got to be considerate here, SBJ, about Sandra Cole's feelings. Well, maybe in another universe, because guess what? At Gold Rush, it'll be Ian versus Juice James. It's official, like it or not. It's going down September 17th in New Orleans. Ian, here's your opportunity. Don't let me down.
I don't know if Ian is watching, but hopefully he does. Hopefully word gets passed from his buddies Sander and Jack that this is being made official. Right there, folks. Ian King gets the shot of his career taking on the Juice James, the exclusive 3-Dub legend, right. Juice James. Huge news in the wrestling world.
And I think this is going to definitely send shockwaves throughout the internet when this podcast is over. But it's going down in New Orleans. And if you didn't want to watch Gold Rush before, you may want to reconsider now.
Now, there have been rumors that this could be Ian's last season before he supposedly will retire for good. There were talks of that before the season even started.
We signed a contract extension, so that's out of the way. He's going to stay on for a little while longer.
All right, I hadn't gotten that news, but that's good to know. So, especially with a match like this, there's no way that Ian can retire this season coming off a match against Juice James. I mean, you either retire after the match, or this is a way to take your career even further.
Mm-hmm. And I think Ian, I think he's going to give it his all, even if he doesn't come up the victor in this. I just think that Ian needs to understand what he's going up against, and maybe part of him does, but I don't know. But I did get confirmation, and I posted it last night on the 3-Up Facebook after the show. Ian has found the sanctuary, and he's going to be there on the next takedown.
Are we talking Juice James Sanctuary?
Yep, that's the sanctuary, and he's found it. Don't know how. I don't know how anyone simply just finds the sanctuary, but I mean, here we are. So there you. I mean, any reactions to that? Ian and Juice, it's on.
Apparently, Jack Harvey has never been asked to sign any contract extension or anything. Maybe the contract given to Jack is an open-ended forever contract, and you're never going to be allowed to retire from 3-Dub, Jack.
You're stuck here forever.
Forever.
I mean, yes, that's Jack. He's stuck with us forever, like it or not. I don't make the rules, I only play by them, and then
I think most of us like the idea of Jack staying around for forever.
And ever.
And ever.
And ever.
And Chris Harris thinks this is definitely a test that Ian needs, and I agree. So,
Juice James
looking forward to
well.
it.
If you saw him on takedown, he came to me and said, I accept.
Juice James either has a ton to say, too much to say, and
or nothing at all.
Really hard to follow whatever it is that he's trying to say, or he has nothing to say. Exactly.
I didn't understand a lot of what Juice James was saying. He said when he came to me, you can lead them to water, but you can't make them drink. But the last part made more sense. I accept Ian's challenge at Gold Rush. That part, I think anyone can interpret. There's no misinterpretation about it.
Yeah, something about you can scratch the paint off a Black Rifle coffee cup, but the coffee is still the best in the world. Something like that, I believe he said before.
Plug the freaking Black Rifle coffee on a cup of coffee.
I'm just saying that's what I heard.
You know what? Okay, so I guess while we're here on the program, SBJ, I guess now's a good time to run through the sponsors. I got a little bit of them here. I wrote a few of them down because I thought I was going to be here. Okay, let's start off with this one. Do you and your sister never get to see each other? Do you never get to spend time with your parents in an intimate way? Well, now there's Ancestry.com. Ancestry.com, perfect for hookups and family reunions. Swipe right on your sister and get the date of your life. Sponsored by Sander Cool.
It's been proven that Sander and Nora are not blood relations.
I do not believe this. It is doctored documentation, and that is the narrative. That is the narrative I will stick to because you cannot tell me otherwise.
I'm actually surprised Sander Cool has not chimed in yet. Usually we see him...
He's probably asleep.
Oh, God. You've got Alex Priest here checking in.
Oh, no.
Best friend of CFT.
Let me guess. You're gonna pay for destroying my graveyard. 1, 2, Priest is coming for you. 3, 4, his mom was a whore. 5, 6, she couldn't quit sucking dicks.
I don't know if you're allowed to say any of those words here. We do not endorse any of the language that CFT used in that rant. It's not part of what HWA has for beliefs and values. But...
we have values since when? We had Loki here.
We don't have Loki here any longer. Loki, I believe, has moved back to
Russia.
Russia, exactly, and he's actually fighting for the Ukraine in enemy territory while in his home country of Russia, is what I've heard.
Well, I had saw something on the news about Loki invading Ukraine, and it was his idea.
I believe that was locusts, not Loki. His disciples are not trying to hurt anyone. Everyone everyone take a sigh of relief, relax. Alex Priest's disciples are not trying to hurt it. No, I have never.
Who are his disciples?
At pretty much all these shows, he mentions that his disciples are amongst us, but I have yet to see one. Which I'm starting to look at every single person in the locker room on this roster, even you, as possible Alex Priest disciples. Now,
You think
CFT
I'm
can
one of the disciples of Alex Priest?
very well maybe. He says he's a boogeyman billionaire
Gold
grave
suit stole
digging
Joe Biden.
whatever it is that he says he does on.
Joe Biden stealing, I
Yeah.
don't understand. Alex Priest, oh, I know who it is. I know who it is. Alex Priest's disciple is Tony Mercer.
I thought it was Ryan Steele.
Probably both of them. I mean, clowns are considered dark, and Ryan Steele is definitely a clown.
All right. So I was going to ask you too, while you're starting up Townsend Enterprises again, will we be seeing any old Townsend faces such as, Ryan Steele, DTM, or is it going to be a new cast of characters?
No. They're all gone. It's going to be a new cast of characters. When you're in the business for as long as I've been in the business, you make a lot of friends, but sometimes those friends turn out to be more of a pain in the ass than you wanted them to be, and then you realize, wait a minute, they're not a friend, they're just a pest. And that's kind of the category they all go under. Pests.
Well,
And,
we
I
don't have
need
to
them
dig
anymore.
too much into that if you don't want. That's unfortunate.
No, there's nothing to dig into. That's the thing.
Entertaining
I'm not,
guys.
There's nothing for me to dig into. I'm just openly saying how it is. I'm CFT, I'm a straight shooter. Things aren't the way they used to be, and, Townsend Enterprises has to adapt with the times, and that's what we're doing.
Jack Harvey knows what it's like to be betrayed in this business. Maybe, Jack, you can shed a little light on that for your fans out there that may not remember what you're talking about. But can you, what are the plans? Do you have a set list of clients that you are pursuing? Are you just keeping your eye out? How are you going about your recruiting process to fill numbers?
I have paid, and they are all remaining anonymous. That's part of the agreement. I have talent scouts in every EFED in the area, and they will be watching to find people who fit the criteria to join Townsend Enterprises. That's how this is working.
Is there anyone that you can announce here live? That would be another client of yours?
No. We're not going to rush into this. I like putting people in suspense. I like making people wait. But you know what? I do have an interview scheduled here soon with a buddy of yours. What's his name? David Andrews, or I don't know. I don't know.
Are we talking Andrew Davidson?
There we go. I don't really know the guy that well. Appears like he lost his toupee.
I don't know if he wears a toupee. But as Jack Harvey says, we've been talking about him and Ian. He and Ian, for those of you who haven't followed, has turned on Jack several times throughout their career and their on again, off again. Is it relationship, friendship?
It's kind of weird.
Bromance, maybe?
Kinship. I mean, there are a lot of different words you could probably use.
But that another chapter in their saga is bound to be written before the end of each of their tenure in 3-Dub. I have no doubt. Perhaps this opportunity that Ian is getting, facing Juice James, may propel Ian to get back up to the spot where he can face Jack with some higher stakes in the future, potentially.
Potentially so. And with Jack as the current world champion, if Jack can retain a gold rush over James Black, and if Ian beats Juice James, you got to think maybe,
It's going to
maybe,
be
there'll be a meeting between the two.
written in the megastars, as they say.
Exactly. I'm not saying that that's a certainty. You know, if Ian were to beat James and Juice James, and if Jack was to beat James, I mean, I don't know, but you got to think it would put Ian King in contendership for the title.
So forgive me for 1 second, but someone dropped off some cheesesteak pizza here. So since this is an informal podcast, I'm gonna munch on some cheesesteak pizza here, if you don't mind,
And
CFT.
while we're doing this, you know what? While you're munching on your cheesesteak pizza, I guess SBJ, I can read another one of our sponsors here. This one just came in. I got a little note right here.
Of course.
All right, gotta get my voice ready for this one. All right.
No voice crack.
HWA is presented by Shut Up Stephen. HWA is presented by Liberty Medical, helping you manage your diabetes and get the supplies and support you need so you can live a better life. Call 1-800-LIBERTY-MEDICAL.
There you go. Appreciate it. They actually dropped a big fat check off to us very recently. Jack Harvey says
money.
SBJ sounds a little bit like Mean Gene Okerlund, and I absolutely thank you so much for that comment. Very, very
because he's trying
high
to
compliment.
rip off Mean Gene Okerlund. Admit it. You know what? We're going to switch the roles here for a second. SBJ, I'm here interviewing you. Yes or no? Are you trying to rip off Mean Gene?
Mean Gene was a huge influence on me when I was younger, and was actually a teacher of mine when I was in broadcast school.
Ah. But are you trying to rip him off?
Influenced by.
Got it. Well, at least the backdrop hasn't dropped behind something and you turn around and you fuck it.
A few times I've had Miss Jericho.
I'll tell you one that I remember very well, and we haven't really talked much since then. So I've got you right here where I want you. Remember when on HWA West Coast, a certain Australian man knocked me out? I went back and I watched the footage, and someone said, "For the love of God, finally somebody has knocked out that pompous ass." A pompous ass. A pompous ass.
I can neither confirm nor deny the identity of
me a
said
pompous ass.
Back then, CFT, you and I didn't have such a good, healthy relationship, CFT.
Like we still do.
And that was
like things have really changed.
And that was Colt Shields, just so you can all remember.
Nope. God, you just had to say that name, didn't you?
I actually hung out with Colt probably about a week ago, and
yeah, you know, I actually got him arrested and he spent some time in jail.
I know he did, and I'm sure he's not very happy. He almost lost his eye while in prison, thanks to you, CFT.
No regrets.
Scars on his eye. He goes around with no patch either. It's kind of disturbing, but
he wants people to see it. Maybe he wants me to see it. And I ignore it. Because it's funny to me. It's not disgusting, I laugh. I have no remorse for having Colt Shields sent to prison. When you punch me, my lawyers follow.
Alright, let me scroll down here and see what's going on. Apparently,
so let me see if I can find my cellular device, and maybe
apparently the handsome Chris Harris is a fan of cheesesteak pizza.
Who? Well, handsome Chris Harris is a fan of a lot of different things.
He wants to know who exactly would ever want to join Townsend Enterprises and HWA.
Well, if you're trying to insinuate something, ew. No. So, okay. Well, let's get on to our next topic here, SBJ. Just wanting to go through the list of things going on in 3W. They're here talking about the goings on.
Absolutely.
The church. The church, led by Russell Franchise, that's been a pain in my ass.
So who else are members of the church, just for the fans watching that may not
Russell
know?
Franchise, Jimmy Schaefer, formerly known as Jimmy Shadow, Hunter Deal, and Tony Mercer.
The Big Deal Hunter Deal. Very big, dangerous man. I don't feel that Hunter has really been given the shot, or at least hasn't stuck around long enough to get the shot as being the monster that he potentially could be. The guy's about the size of Braun Strowman, is he not?
I mean, I could give my opinion right now on Hunter Deal. I mean, 7 feet tall, but at the same time, I don't want to hear a boring 1 hour lecture on the Big Deal podcast.
He is 7 feet tall, and you can't teach that.
No, you can't teach that, but you know what you can teach? Decency, and he doesn't have any of them.
I heard that he was actually a minister in real life at one point, or...
Well, you know, I mean, there are a lot of people that were priests and ministers that got arrested for fondling children, so, I mean...
Not that we are saying that Hunter Deal ever has done that, but...
I mean, how can we be sure? How can we be sure? You don't know. Maybe he did. Maybe he didn't.
So,
I don't know.
this is...
Just going to go on this little Christian podcast and be like, oh no, CFT has accused me of fondling children. In God's name, amen, I'm the big deal.
I don't know if he would ever even bring that up during it, but...
I mean, I don't know. Jimmy Swaggart openly brought out the accusations of cheating on his wife on his show, so
that's true.
I guess it's not completely out the window.
So Jack Harvey still thinks that CFT. This is in quotes. I mean, I still think CFT is a pompous ass for costing me the world title against James Black before. He owes CFT one. So.
3 words, Jack, get over it. You're the champion again. Come on.
All right, go ahead. I just wanted to catch...
But you know, my problem in the church isn't with Hunter Deal. It isn't with Tony Mercer. But you know what? Speaking of Tony Mercer, the great Tony Mercer, all rise. Let me tell you a little something about Tony Mercer.
Does he say anything but all rise? I've never heard him say anything else.
I mean... Tony Mercer's vocabulary is about equivalent to that of a child before preschool. I mean, like, he's just learning words. I mean, he's starting to learn a few more, maybe because of the church. Maybe it's this divine influence that Russell Franchise has. Maybe it makes people smarter, but it's still not really working on Tony Mercer. Either way, I digress. Tony Mercer has been demanding a last man standing match with Dylan Mason. He has demanded a world title match on numerous occasions. At one point, SBJ, he went on the blacklist and demanded that James Black vacate the world title when he was champion and hand it to Tony Mercer. This is the kind of stuff I'm putting up with Tony Mercer. Rise, 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 all rise to the great Tony Mercer. Now set your ass down. You know what, Tony Mercer? If you're listening to this, and I hope you are, or you will soon, how about this? All rise and set your ass down, you stupid freaking clown. I've had enough of you. I've had enough of the church. But it ain't even you I have the problem with. The problem is with Jimmy. My problems are all with Jimmy Schaefer.
You mean the new #1 contender?
Jimmy Schaefer has been ripping me every chance he gets. He does not call me... Now, this pisses me off, okay? We have a little bit of a code of ethics in 3Dub, as you know. And he never... Most people in the back will call me Mr. Townsend, or hell, even Mr. CFT or Mr. GM sign with me. He goes up to me, "Hi, Clarence. What are you doing, Clarence?" Oof.
At least he isn't calling you Clearance.
No, but it still upsets me, and this guy constantly is going to franchise. Please, please, Russell, give me title opportunities. Please, please. I'll deep throat you. Please, 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 give me opportunities. And guess what? He gets them. He's granted them like Russell Franchise is some sort of magician. He's a preacher with an ego problem and probably on too many drugs that count. And, okay, so you know what? I didn't know what I was going to do. I was at a rock and a hard place going into Takedown. But guess what? Austin Eric showed up. my good friend, former client, Austin Eric showed up, and he threw out a genius idea.
Former world champion.
Indeed. Make him earn it. A #1 contenders match. So what did I do? I sent Nova Reese out there. I sent Hired Gun out there, and we had ourselves a triple threat match, and Jimmy still won.
So I think you made a mistake, because watching that match, I haven't seen Jimmy Schaefer that focused in any match in probably close to 3 years. So
this is definitely
whatever
Jimmy
you did
seen in ages.
Sparked something in Jimmy, and he looks more determined than I've seen him in forever.
I mean,
and he looks like he really wants that title.
If you remember last year, he was part of that GPW tag team with Hunter Deal, and he didn't even look that determined then when he had the tag titles.
So something I've got to, we can't ignore this. I saw an offer come on the thread that you will not be able to refuse CFT, and I hope that once you hear this, you don't leave the booth. You sit here and keep in the conversation and hold off your anticipation a little bit longer. But the one and only Alex Priest says he's sorry about his anger on his graveyard, and says that you can vandalize it whenever you want, CFT. Anytime you want, you can vandalize Alex Priest's graveyard. How? No, don't run out of the booth and run right over there.
I'm sitting right here because my brain has just shrunk 3 times smaller than it was before, and if Alex Priest continues, I'm not going to have a brain left.
Those of you new to the show, we play along. Alex Priest he says the most off-the-wall crap that I have ever heard in my life most of the time.
Including this.
But I really think that UCFT should offer Alex Priest a 3-dub contract for at least temporary. Maybe a couple matches in Worldwide Wrestling on Frenzy, perhaps.
Okay. So, now the next thing here, talking about the church, their fearless leader, Russell Franchise. You know, he threatened to sue me. Sue me.
Russell the Love Muscle.
Whatever you want to call him, he threatened to sue me. Sue CFT. Okay. Now, you go up against me. Okay, this is going to get like Steiner math, okay? I mean, he's got a 33 1/3% chance of actually winning a lawsuit against me. You take that, I don't know, 66 2/3%, whatever, okay? I didn't graduate from the University of Michigan, which means I'm actually a smart human being. But that's besides the point. So, Russell Franchise, yeah, he's trying to influence the way things are done here at 3-Dub. And I'm not going to stand for it. And the Southern Smoke Boys aren't standing for it either. You saw Money Mike and Sleazy Dreams basically bash him and Jimmy when Russell was delivering a sermon a couple weeks ago.
Money Mike and Jason Michaels, very high quality individuals. Sleazy Dreams as well, and Cooter. Very classy individuals.
I've banned Cooter from all 3-Dub arenas, so we don't have to worry about him.
No, I didn't know that.
Cooter's banned. We don't want Cooter anywhere around. Cooter is a problem. Cooter is a disease. Cooter is a burden. Any sign of Cooter, and I don't know what I'd do.
If you guys haven't watched over at Southern Smoke Wrestling on YouTube, go check them out as well. Not only do they have some great matches set up, some great shows as far as in ring, but you get to see their antics as they film things like Money Mike's birthday adventure to Las Vegas. They actually bought a tiger, and it was very entertaining stuff. So make sure you guys don't only watch their wrestling shows, but check out the other projects that they do. Little hidden gems there, such as that birthday adventure.
Well, moving on here in 3-Dub, we got some more stories here to talk about. The next one These are two guys you know very well, SBJ, so I'm sure you can contribute to this conversation. The international championship match that has been
Where'd you go,
confirmed
Mike?
between Lance Hagen and Joe Rivers.
Lance Hagen and Joe Rivers.
Yep, the international championship on the line.
The
what do you think about that one?
Stomp Messiah. Lance Hagen, is you can see what he's capable of. Even those who have just been following HWA, the giant leprechaun. So Hector Dominguez filled me in on some knowledge that I was not aware of. Hector said that originally leprechauns were giants anyway, so
they were warriors.
Yeah, they were giant warriors. They weren't these little tiny little Christian-made miniatures that we're all used to seeing.
So, I mean, maybe Lance Hagen is what's left of that? I don't know.
That's it. So Lance Hagen is a throwback.
Oh, so I mean, we can talk about that one, but there's something else I want to talk about. I mean, there's not really much to talk about the international title, but I'll tell you what, there is something to talk about. What do you think about Justin, the living legend, and his protest?
I've never really been one to follow the living legend during his career. To be honest, nothing against Justin. It's just he's pretty hard to follow and bounces around a lot, and going
what do you think
back
about
to
him protesting the company wanting better treatment? He walked out. He no-showed events.
I think it's an attention getter. He still has a contract and potentially could be leaving the company. And with, as you know, even if a wrestler leaves early, the company still has to pay out his contract. So I think that they're just letting it happen. Yeah, I think they're just letting it happen so they don't have to pay him and not have him there showing up.
The protest is over, as you know, so I mean, it guaranteed money. He came out and attacked Matt Aidstar to end this protest. And as we talked about before, I mean, maybe I offered Justin some money to come back. I mean, it's been implied, but
yeah, I guess so. If you have someone that can go after Matt Aidstar for you, we all know that you're not a very fan of Matty Aidstar.
Matt Aidstar is another fossil. I mean, he's probably up there in age with you, right? Maybe older? Matt Aidstar's got to be older than SBJ.
Matt Aidstar is nowhere near my age, but...
No, he's nowhere near your age because he's considerably above it. But either way, so Matt Aidstar, how about this? He got attacked by Chino Gambino.
So I don't know what Chino's issue with Matt Aidstar is. Maybe it goes back to before my time. I know Chino's
when Matt was the GM. I don't know, some management decisions.
Possibly. I know Chino. He goes back before my tenure here as well, and I don't really understand Chino. I've never really seen him do anything that high in the card that would, put him up against talent like Matt Aidstar. But
so, I mean, but would you say this is the highest you've seen Chino on the card ever?
I believe so, to be honest. I mean, he's looking like he's been doing a ton of his push-ups that he likes to film himself doing. So maybe he's done enough of them to strengthen his body enough to handle the rigors of some of the made card events.
Well, there's that one, and here's some I want to know if you've been following, because I know, you being here in HWA, you've been a long time broadcaster for here, and some stuff even predating the HWA days, but what are your thoughts? Okay, so the hardcore championship division is definitely heating up. Savio Shine is the hardcore champion, but Dominator, you formerly know him as Dean Moxley.
Absolutely, it's great to see him active.
And Caleb Shaw, of all people, returned to 3-Dub for the title.
Caleb Shaw is a man that he's very unpredictable. If he's on his game, the sky's the limit. He's capable of putting anyone out for the 3 count with one swing of his right hand. And then there are times where he just seems to unravel and just loses. So I don't know if Shaw, can really carry the title, carry a division, just because of how
But he seems like he's
unpredictable he is.
Yeah, he lost the title, and then the other guy involved right now, TK Chris, the guy we were talking about earlier, in Canada's Most Wanted.
TK Chris it's a guy that I just started trying to become a little more familiar with. I have heard a lot about him since he made his debut in 3-Dub, so I'm very interested to see what he has to bring to the table. As you all are aware, I took some time off from following 3-Dub a lot just because I couldn't handle Brooks. No matter where I looked, Brooks was there. And yes, no, I know now he is in HWA again. But that's why I left 3-Dub. And we have since settled things. And
speaking of Brooks, I wonder what his beef with Titan was all about. If you saw that match, Titan facing an up-and-comer named William the Hammer in his debut, and you talk about an impressive debut right there.
William the Hammer and Titan, 2 massive men. Titan he's still undefeated in Worldwide Wrestling, correct?
Yep, he has a win. He debuted at Guaranteed Money, beat Buck Buckley, which I think anyone could beat Buck Buckley. He beat Mondo Morales. He beat Jay Sweetness. He beat William the Hammer. And now his next challenge is the alpha male Pat Legend, who you've probably seen in New Breed.
Absolutely, Pat Legend. One of the top contenders over in New Breed Wrestling. Make sure you go check them out too.
Biggest challenge to date.
Definitely. I'm not sure, where did Titan come from? Can we see Titan in other federations?
Not before, but he was part of the OEW roster at one point.
Okay. The Outlaw Elite?
The Outcast Elite, yeah.
Outcast Elite, that's what it is.
But yeah, he was there. He was part of a few other organizations throughout his career in EFED, but, like most people, it eventually comes to 3-Dub, and...
No, folks, we can breathe a sigh of relief. I was just informed that Alex Priest was evil, but he just now totally changed because he now knows about respect. So we did that.
Not bad and evil.
We did that for Alex Priest. You all did that right here on the Cup of Coffee with SBJ, with our special guest CFT. We conformed Alex Priest to the light side of things. He is now a good guy.
Should we be happy? Should we? I don't know. Is this celebration? Or
we should rejoice.
We should all, just throw a big old party and...
Oh, since I have this is a perfect thing for you, CFT, since we have the general manager of Worldwide Wrestling. Go check him out, Worldwide Wrestling on YouTube.
Let me take a sip of my Mountain Dew.
So, our good friend Chris Harris, if he's still on there, he basically wants a shot at the 3-Dub tag titles, CFT. He'll find a partner, and he wants Watkins and DJB.
Harris, as we know, Chris Harris is fighting alone, basically.
Himself and King Red had never actually lost the titles, he wanted to point out.
No, but as it stands right now, SBJ, and I want your thoughts on this, it could very well be a 1-on-2 situation.
That's, with the level of talent there, that's never really a good thing. So, I'm sure that someone will step up.
Well, if
maybe someone from
Remy
the past.
Remy left under mysterious circumstances, just walked out of the arena, and hasn't been seen since.
I do recall that, and I saw his agent actually a couple days ago. Actually, it was after the Takedown show, and he was, very vague. I didn't get a lot of answers. I was wondering
Trying to get the scoop, maybe.
Yeah, trying to get a little scoop, and Remy, as you know, still active in HWA, just lost his title, and I haven't seen him since
I mean, have you
Alcatraz.
tried to confront Remy about it, or have you just kind of kept your distance, or?
I haven't seen Remy since. I saw him briefly at Alcatraz, and he was basically on a boat out of there as soon as his match ended. He didn't stick around. There was no
No
post
handshakes,
match
no press
interview,
conference.
nothing. He was just gone, and I haven't heard from him. I again couldn't get anything out of his agent, Ray, but
I
I
mean,
don't
hopefully
know.
we'll hear something soon. I mean, there's been no sign at all of Remy.
I'm guessing Remy would have a rematch, just losing his title, and we haven't been able to reach him about that. James Black was supposed to be having a meeting with Remy's agent about that
Trying to
possible
get him to
rematch.
continue competing in HWA, probably,
Correct.
but I don't really know anything about it. But as it stands right now, Chris Harris doesn't have a tag team partner. His back is up against the wall.
I'm sure there's a
And,
lot of
and
potential.
here's the thing. I mean, and here's the thing. Mr. Drew came to me the night after guaranteed, well, not the night, but like, just nights after guaranteed money. And he said that he wanted a tag team championship match at Gold Rush. I mean, I could make Chris Harris versus the Megastars a thing. A handicap match for the tag titles. It's doable, and we could, do something later on, but I don't think I want to do that. Part of me doesn't think I want to do that. I mean, maybe I could. I mean, there's got to be a tag team partner for
I
Chris.
don't
Maybe we'll
want to
find
see you
someone.
do that as well. We already see what the megastars are
And I'm
capable of.
not doing it because
It's
of Chris. I'm not trying to look out for Chris Harris. I could care less about him. I care more about what, my higher ups want. And I use that term lightly because you saw what I said to Mr. Drew and what I got away with.
what episode of Worldwide Wrestling was that? That was a takedown. Do you remember which
That was
takedown
the one
episode
right
that
after
was?
guaranteed. That was the one right after Guaranteed Money, the Fallout episode.
Chris Harris
And
still is around. I don't know, but whatever he is going through, his mind, Chris wishes him the best. I believe that is directed towards Remy.
yeah, but I mean, I can tell there's no ill will there. But how about this? Next week on Takedown, a huge 6-man tag main event. Megastar Mason, Megastar Hollywood Watkins, and James Black versus Chris Harris, Corey Heck, and Jack Harvey.
That is a match that I honestly can't believe you have happening just on a takedown. That
I mean,
is big event style match right there. That could headline a big event, and you have it on a
audiences are getting it
takedown.
For free, man.
Absolutely.
Free of charge, I mean. But hey, I'm the GM of the company for one reason, but besides the fact that I bought out the contract and, did all those evil, despicable things that guys like me do.
So CFT, are you really believing that this being a takedown, that the megastars are really gonna show up for this match? Are they gonna actually participate? Is it going to be a full match with a real decision?
I have it
Or
under good authority that they are all three going to be there and they're all three going to compete. I have not been told otherwise. As a matter of fact, I had a good meeting with some talent, after takedown last night, and when I was going around and telling everyone what the plans were for the next show, be like, hey, be at the arena for this, have your gear. Told them that, told all three megastars that. I cornered them, said, Black, Mason, Watkins, have your gear, be at takedown next week in Baton Rouge, and you're going to have yourself a 6-man tag team match against Heck, Harris, and Harvey, and, well, none of them said no. So,
are you guys going to go against the grain and use that as an opener for the show?
No, that's going to be the main event of the evening. Without a shadow of a doubt, that is the main event of the show. You got to make the audience wait a little bit for some of these big events, and, well, this is definitely, like you said, this is a match that we could have had at TB7 next year. But
I'm sure Jimmy Jam will be lurking, says Chris Harris.
Jimmy Jam, yeah, calling him Jimmy Jam Black again. I mean, some of the things that Chris Harris says backstage in the locker room, some of the things he says makes absolutely no sense. Some of his food preferences are downright disgusting.
I mean, he does the
He likes pickles. I mean, he loves pickles on just about any and everything, which is
pickles,
just outright
fried
disgusting.
pickles.
Now, I'm going to quiz you right now, SBJ. Just right here on the fly. Can you tell me what the woo-woo is?
The woo-woo?
The woo-woo.
Is that some sort of chain store in New Jersey?
I have no idea. But it's what Chris Harris refers to. I don't know. He's like, we're going to do the woo-woo, but I don't know what the woo-woo is.
I don't know what a woo-woo is. Is that the Wawa?
I don't know what it is.
I heard a Wawa. Wawa is the chain.
Woo-woo and the Wawa, and
store.
I don't know. Sounds like Chris Harris crying after I fired him as GM. You know, either way. But, so Chris Harris, on top of that, you know what he does in his free time? You know, I encourage
Other than porn stars?
Other than porn stars. I'll tell you what Chris Harris does on his free time. Okay, so I follow him on social media, you know, just because I like to follow the talent to see what they're up to, even if I don't like them. He's always doing karaoke. Like, this is something that he is fixated on doing. Karaoke, he's always singing country music.
He actually, in his younger years, he was sort of a John Cena type. He actually had released an album at one point. And
go looking for that.
A rap album, actually. Kind of, Chris Harris is kind of like a
Jack of all trades.
A Kid Rock of our generation. He started off actually rapping and actually released a rap album.
Yeah,
and then he went over to rock and country.
I mean, that sounds terrible.
I would love it if one of the takedown shows, he actually used Chris Harris's rap album as an opening music to the show.
But here's the thing, though. You look at Chris Harris, okay? Just if you check out his karaoke music, you know, that he sings along to. One week it'll be the Backstreet Boys or NSYNC, and then the next week it's Keith Whitley or George Strait or something. It's like as bipolar as my ex-wife.
How is she doing, by the way?
I don't know. I just know I ain't paying her no damn alimony. So I don't know what happened to her, but either way, regardless. So, you know what, SBJ, we've pretty much run down a lot of the 3-dub stuff, I believe, and don't think. Oh, how about this? One more thing before we move on to the Ask CFT Anything portion. Frenzy. Have you been following any of this? As you can tell, Frenzy is kind of coming of its own.
Yeah, I've watched some Frenzy. It definitely has come a long way.
Doing that
yeah, it's been great watching that. It was sort of a minor show, but it's been taking on a life of its own, and kind of, you can almost say that it's like an NXT. Some would say that potentially it could be better than the main show, just like NXT became.
I mean, we've had
in
some
that WWE
matches.
The interesting tournament going on. You've got talent such as Durgos I've seen on there. I've seen the Troubleshooter. Yeah, Brandon Osborne on there. Muggs. That there's some huge talent on Frenzy.
Right. And if you look at the Final Four of the Fight Night Championship tournament, both these matches are going to take place on a Frenzy. Now, here's something you probably never thought would come out of anyone's mouth. A Frenzy exclusive pay-per-view, Fight for All. There are going to be 4 men left, and we have right here, it's going to be Drew Tanner, the Portsmouth Punisher, someone you know very well.
Someone with the uppercut we heard around the world.
Yep. Versus the Troubleshooter, Jason Dixon. Now, what are your thoughts on that match?
That's very interesting. We know that for whatever reason, Drew Tanner has his heart set on going one-on-one several times with the Troubleshooter. He wants to see the Troubleshooter versus the Straight Shooter. And yes, he crossed the Jason Dixon line.
If you've been following his promos in 3-Dub, he's been very adamant about that.
He has, and to be honest, before Drew Tanner even broke out in 3-Dub, he's been wanting to face Jason Dixon. I
It's
don't
kind
quite.
of on his dream opponents list, and he's kind
Yeah,
of getting scratched that
I
off.
don't know exactly what his issue is with
I don't know if it's an issue or more
Dixon,
of
but
just a desire to get into the ring to prove himself. I don't know.
I
There
think
are
it's
a multitude of reasons as to why he'd want to get in there. But the other one, Durgos versus Wesley Walker.
huge Durgos fan. In my opinion, Durgos is one of the top superstars and could be challenging someday for the main title in Worldwide Wrestling.
I mean,
As
for the
far
Fight
as
Night
Wesley Walker,
Championship,
I don't really know him all that well, but
Wesley Walker had a decent run in UCW.
high flyer. I definitely am interested. I saw him wrestle just recently on a frenzy, and I definitely would like to talk to his agent and see if it's possible to have Walker show up, maybe for a Forged in Pain Friday here and there or something like that at
I
least.
mean,
And
the guy has some promise, and there's some other guys that you're familiar with that have been showing up on Frenzy, like Swoop.
Swoop, absolutely. Swoop was a winner of Forged in Pain Fridays. I think our first one, actually. Did we lose you, CFT? Alright, it seems like CFT had to run real quick, folks, so I'm going to wrap this up. It's been going on for long enough. Hopefully those of you watching enjoyed our little podcast going again, the Cup of Coffee with SBJ. Plan on starting it up as a semi-regular thing again, so if you are watching and want to jump on and be part of it, just reach out, let us know. Back on Facebook again. You heard us talking about Forged in Pain Fridays. That's our weekly special. It's sort of a trimmed down thing, like a proving ground, if you will. 6-man battle royal matches. The winner gets a shot on the very next episode of our main hybrid universe. Kind of a cool little show that I don't see people doing that sort of proving ground match type of short show, single match only. Make sure you check that out. Go over to our Forged in Pain Fridays playlist. But that's it, folks. Have a great night. Thank you to all those that popped in for this little podcast. It's great to be back here chatting. Thank you for that, Chris Harris. Glad to have you jump on. So absolutely, you are always welcome, Chris, to jump in here and join me for a cup of coffee. But I'm going to jump off here and finish eating some steak and cheese pizza. Have a good night.